Today, we're not only going to help the environment, but we're going to help this home grow a source of energy efficiency for years to come.
That's right, Megan. In addition to being beautiful, the right tree in the right place can provide a windbreak in the wintertime to help conserve heating energy, and in the summer provide shade to help with the cooling. Here to tell us about selecting the right tree and planning for its placement is Nick McGrath from Trees Forever. Welcome, Nick.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Nick, tell us about some of the benefits of having healthy trees in our neighborhoods.
First off, the trees provide a tremendous amount of beauty. It makes our streets, our communities more inviting with the different colors and shapes and textures and sizes. And as it relates to the home, this deciduous tree is going to provide much needed shade on a hot summer day.
Now, Nick, what kind of tree is this?
This is American linden.
All right, and you helped us select not only the tree, but the location as well. But for homeowners watching, what considerations should they keep in mind in making those decisions?
So when we think about a tree, if this linden gets to be 80 foot tall and 30 foot wide, it has plenty of room out here to do so. Other trees may be a little more constricted. It has plenty of water and some good soil to live in. It has all the sunlight it needs. And so if you can answer those couple of questions, the sunlight, the moisture, the space, you're going to get a pretty good list of trees that are going to do really well in your space.
Nick, what tools do we need and what happens next?
First off, we're going to prep the tree before we dig the hole. So I brought a few tools. These are things you probably have around your house. I have a knife, a pair of pruners, a handsaw or a drywall saw will work fine. And this is my favorite tool. It's a combination spade cultivator that we'll use here as we prep. Now, before we do anything further than this, we need to call 811 to get the utilities marked. This is a free service. They come out and make sure that everything that exists in your property that they know of is marked so we don't hit anything.
Okay, so what do we do now to prep the tree prior to digging to ensure that it has a really good, healthy start?
Planting depth is the #1 thing that we can do to set up our tree for success. So, as I was doing when you came over, I'm trying to find the first root that comes out of the tree here. So, we're gonna go ahead and take it out of the pot. And if you notice the trees that are around that have grown to old age, they all have a flare at the base. And this is made by the top root, and so that's what we want to find. Right now, it looks a little bit like a telephone pole coming out of the dirt, and we want to find that flare. So I'm going to gently start shaving away, and don't be afraid to be fairly aggressive at this stage. As long as you don't cut into that trunk, you're not going to hurt it. And what I'm looking for as I'm doing this is a root about the size of my pinky finger. You can start to see we've hit a root. It's fairly substantial, so I do think we're there.
Okay.
Now, the next step in prepping our tree is going to be to address all of these. These aren't going to untangle themselves, so just like we did on the top, we're going to go ahead and cut them off. And I'm going to go in about 1 inch. And again, don't be afraid to be aggressive. What we're trying to do is eliminate any roots that are going around in a circle. Because again, those aren't going to untangle. And then over time, as they get thicker and thicker, you run the risk of those girdling out your tree. And we'll take a look at the bottom. And again, we kind of see this plate of roots. So I'm not going to go as deep, but I do want to take them off.
So Nick, we're ready to put shovels into the dirt. How deep do we need to go?
We want it as deep as that root flare that we just found. So okay. I would take my shovel head and check to see about how deep we need to go based on the root, and I'm going to say it's the entire shovel.
Okay.
So we're going to want to be 2 to 3 times the width of the tree, of the root ball here. Okay. Let's give that a go. Go ahead and lay the shovel across. That looks awesome.
That looks perfect.
Now the tree is in the hole. The next really important thing is to make sure that it's straight up and down. How are we looking? It needs to come
A little this way?
Yep, just a hair.
We're good?
We're good. So we're gonna start to backfill. And I wanna keep the sod out, but otherwise we're gonna put the same stuff that came out of the hole back into the hole. Trees will adjust to whatever you give them. You should be just about there. Now with the sod, I'm gonna go ahead and flip it upside down. and make a little berm around the outside of the tree here, or on the outside of the hole. And that'll just help collect any rainwater. It'll stop the grass from trying to regrow, and we'll cover it up in mulch anyway. So you'll be able to see it. This is very typical of lindens and a lot of trees. They'll get these suckers that grow off at the base. They're not necessarily harmful for the tree. Again, the tree is just trying to produce leaves to get food, but a lot of homeowners would prefer them to not be there, so we're just going to come in and prune them off.
So Nick, what about a recommendation then on mulch?
A lot of good mulches out there that you can buy. This came from the city. A lot of cities will have free mulch piles.
Any concern about too much mulch, or what's your recommendation?
Never too much mulch. We just don't want it up against the trunk. Very similar to how we did the dirt here.
Okay.
And if you can aim for 3 to 4 inches, I think that is fabulous. And as this breaks down over time, it's just going to continue to improve the soil underneath. And we'll just make a little donut here.
So now let's talk about watering, Nick. How much, how often, all of that.
This is the most important thing you can do after planting your tree. I like to think of it in twos. The first 2 weeks are really important, so I would do 10 gallons on a tree this size every other day for 2 weeks. And then after that, I would give it 10 gallons a week for 2 years.
Now here's a question. We see these at the home store.
This is fabulous, and it's great for larger trees like this, because I think this one probably holds about 30 gallons. Now, I wouldn't do 30 gallons all at once, but it makes it really easy to fill it halfway full and then let it drain, and it should drain out over 6 to 8 hours.
Well, Nick, this is a great addition to this yard. Thanks for making it happen.
Oh, thank you. It's a beautiful day to plant a tree.
It is. And if you'd like more information about saving energy through landscaping your yard, visit our website at powerhousetv.com.